Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new Jurassic World Dominion video, where I am wearing glasses which I shouldn't really be wearing because of glare. Anyways, hello, welcome back to another video. Today's video we are basically going to be talking about some plot holes. So many weeks ago, and I do mean a lot of weeks ago, I posted on my community page here on YouTube exactly what you guys think are plot holes from Jurassic World Dominion. And I've done the horrible task in trying to answer all of them. Every single one of them, which was very painful, but I believe we've got the best answers here. Now in total, I believe we've got 54 people featured within this video, so this is going to be a very long one. Now quickly before I get into it, you can probably see it's very dark here, very dark indeed. It is, what time is it? It's 1:15 in the morning. Shouldn't really be making a video at this time, but heck, I'm tired. I'm going to see if I can get through this and read all of my plot hole answers for you. If there happens to be some sort of time jump and it's a different lighting, you can probably tell what happened. I got tired, I went to bed and decided to continue doing this video in the morning. But because this is going to be a very long video, let's get into it. What we're going to do is have the questions pop up and I'll reply with what I actually think from my script right here. However, the first question that we have here is from KK Tango, who says, "Since when were there two other Tyrannosaurus Rexes? Yeah, I get that Biosin could have made them, but it was said that it took them 3 years to capture the T-Rex. Well, the other two Tyrannosaurus Rexes seen at the end of Jurassic World Dominion are confirmed to be the Buck and Doe from the Lost World back in 1997. And apparently, from my notes here, we've been told by the creators on the movie that these two were captured on Isla Sorna whilst it was still active. So these are completely different Tyrannosaurus Rexes to the ones we see in Camp Cretaceous. However, we also see some Velociraptor species dedicated to Sorna and also some Pteranodon species dedicated to Sorna also appear on the mainland. So my assumption is that some sort of mission went wrong and Biosin captured most of these dinosaurs. Question number 2 from Dino Boy: what happened to the baby baryonyx? Well, the baby baryonyx was most likely rehoused after the CIA and multiple other federal agencies went into the black market within Malta and they probably shut everything down, so I can only assume that the baby baryonyx was then transported elsewhere. Question 3, are the two Tyrannosauruses at the end of the movie Buck and Doe? Yes, these are Buck and Doe. Question 4, what happened to the Atrociraptor pack after the events in Malta? Are they still alive or did something happen to them? Well, the Atrociraptor pack are most likely still running around in Malta since we didn't really see them get captured. And to be honest, I won't even doubt the possibility that potentially the Maltese government sent the army in to try and wrangle these Atrociraptors because, let's be honest, they will cause mayhem. However, we also speculated that Sayuna Santos escaped Barry, so maybe she was able to wrangle and recapture these Atrociraptors and end up sending them to Riyadh, which could then also set up a spin-off show later down the line. Question 5. How did Lewis Dodson retrieve the Barbasol can in Jurassic World Dominion? Well, we'll get that answer in just 1 week time when we do get to witness Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Season 5, as we have a confirmed answer that we will see the way that Lewis Dodson regathered that Barbasol can. Question number 6. How the hell did the Dimetrodons get into the mines? And even if there was an opening in the past, what do they even eat within there? Do they reproduce fast enough to survive on cannibalism or what? Well, the Dimetrodons actually house themselves in the cave, where I assume has open areas for dinosaurs to wander in and out. They could feast on some prey that may wander into the caves without actually knowing, or potentially they could have been fed by the Biosin agents. Question number 7. Did the Sauna Raptors from Jurassic Park 3 escape the Biosin facility? How else would they get back into the real world, and if so, how many sauna creatures are out there on the mainland? There's actually zero confirmation that Biosin captured these dinosaurs, but these Velociraptors are confirmed to have been seen in Canada and also Malta. And we also know that the tiger striped variants from the Lost World Jurassic Park are also somewhere out there in the world as well. So my assumption is that some sort of mission went wrong here, and we'll hopefully see that in some sort of spin-off show later down the line. Question number 8. Where do dinosaurs like the Giganotosaurus and the Therizinosaurus, or other animals like the Listrosaurus, Dimetrodon and Quetzalcoatlus come from? From what I know, InGen didn't make them. I thought this would be answered in the movie, but I think it only left me with more questions. Well, this was actually answered in the movie. It was confirmed that the Therizinosaurus, the Giganotosaurus and also the Quetzalcoatlus are species dedicated and created by Biosin genetics. However, the creatures of Microceratus and Listrosaurus were found in Malta. We know genomes and technology has shipped across the globe now, so practically anybody could be making these dinosaurs. Question number 9. How is Biosin allowed to clone dinosaurs if cloning dinosaurs and breeding is illegal? And did ghosts die? As you can tell by the Locust plot, Biosin aren't exactly in the public eye with every single thing that they do. They could have easily illegally bred some of these dinosaurs without anybody knowing at all. And no, Ghost did not die. Question 10. My question is, since Claire and Owen got involved in the action in Malta, even though they were told not to by Barry, does that mean they lied to Barry? Well, not really. Barry trusted them and knew exactly who they are. He actually knew that if the situation went to shit, basically he could rely on Owen and Claire to get out of there alive and probably even help, rather than hinder their situation. It was more of a spontaneous matter as to where Barry actually needed their help. Question 11. What does Dodson eat? I don't know, but Dodson, like many other CEOs, typically don't have time to have full meals, such as breakfast, lunch and dinners. So it's quite common to see people like this feasting on very small foods, possibly even nuts. And that's what I think probably, he could be eating some sort of chocolate bar eventually because he asked for one of those. But I do think that Dodson is actually eating some sort of small food here. Question 12. Why was Biosim releasing dinosaurs into the world? There's no confirmation that Biosim was creating these dinosaurs and releasing them into the world. However, there is confirmation that Biosim were selling their genomes across the globe instead. So there is a high probability that they sold some of their genomes to some people who just wanted to watch the world burn and let the dinosaurs go into open nature. So basically, when Biosim sell their paleo DNA applications, they sell that DNA to people who don't really want to see dinosaurs in a cage. Question 13. How did Dodson get the Barbasol can, and why were the amber mines abandoned? Since I will probably be saying this quite often throughout the video, Dodson did in fact get the can in 2016 during the event of Camp Cretaceous Season 5. And as for the amber mines, they were probably abandoned because there was nothing inside of them. We heard Alan Grant say that they must be the old amber mines, which suggests that they are basically depleted and there's no amber left inside of them. Question 14. Why did they change where Maisie came from? There was actually no change whatsoever, it was just the evolution of the story that we currently know of. We eventually learn about people who knew about the whole story when it came to Dr. Wu, when it came to Ellie Sattler, and we got introduced Charlotte Lockwood, where we learned a little bit more about her. And Dr. Wu even said that Benjamin Lockwood didn't want people to know the real truth about Charlotte, and was merely just protecting her. So they didn't change anything, it was an evolution of what we knew. Question 15. Can you explain the blue beta Maisie DNA locust connection? I'm very confused and I didn't really get it properly. Why did I leave this as my last question to answer tonight? Oh, this is a big one. Okay, I'm going to switch off my camera here so I can read this one out and not make direct eye contact. Dr. Wu needed to study beta's attributes after being the first dinosaur in recorded history, since the Scorpius Rex wasn't technically recorded, to understand how creatures like these locusts would act. The DNA within Maisie helped Wu understand how to produce a genome within the locusts, the same way that the pathogens in Maisie's body fought off the bad ones. The new locust is the pathogen, which then spreads and eventually kills off the old locusts. Okay, we're back, different lighting, different day, different top, different everything. So question number 16 says, why do you think that the Giganotosaurus wasn't as prominent of a big bad dinosaur than to the other movie dinosaurs such as the Spinosaurus, Indominus Rex and Indoraptor? Well, to get that answer, we just need to take one look at the prologue and take a look at the Giganotosaurus. But when we look at the Giganotosaurus from the prologue and then we take a look at what we saw in Jurassic World Dominion, these Gigas are almost exactly the same. So what I believe is happening here is pretty much that the Giganotosaurus is 100% accurate to its paleo counterpart within the Jurassic universe. Therefore, this dinosaur wasn't bred to be very over the top and excessive like the Indominus Rex and the Indoraptor. It was merely bred just to be a dinosaur really, and that's what it did. Question 17. Where did Dreadnoughtus, Listrosaurus and more come from? What happened to Dodson after Jurassic Park 1? What happened to Isla Sorna after Jurassic Park 3? Well, Dreadnoughtus did actually appear in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. However, it was only merely a genome sample, so that was pretty much teased to appear in Jurassic World Dominion, and we knew that its genome was somewhere. As for the Listrosaurus, it's not a dinosaur, but it was still probably produced in the same way dinosaurs were, but to an extent where it was basically just used for fights and food source as a lucrative business within Malta. And according to my notes, Dodson went through the ranks at Biosin, where he then became the CEO in 2013. And Isla Sorna's lore is very messy after Jurassic Park 3, so I'm not really going to go into it for this video. Question 18. Why did they create the Giganotosaurus? What purpose? Why not Spinosaurus? Well, actually, Biosin did in fact create the Spinosaurus back in the early 2000s, late 1990s, according to some brand new lore that are released on the Dino Tracker website. However, primarily the Giganotosaurus was made just to rival InGen's Tyrannosaurus Rex. Dodson never really liked InGen, so the best way to rival them was to create the Pyroraptor instead of Velociraptor, and then create the Giganotosaurus instead of the Tyrannosaurus. As for the whereabouts of the Spinosaurus, they remain unknown, but we know that it was left behind in 2016 on Manticore Island, so we can only presume that it's either alive or dead. Whether it's on the mainland is another question. Question 19. What happens to all of the black markets at the end of the movie? There was only one black market shown in Jurassic World Dominion, and it most likely got shut down when the CIA came in. Question 20. How did they get Dimetrodon DNA? The same way they got the Mosasaurus DNA and the Indominus DNA for the Indoraptor. There is actually a technique that they use for these creatures where they actually go to the fossils and take the protein from the fossils, which they can then use to create a new species. Question 21. I don't know why the Locust subplot and Clone Girl were focused so much. It felt like Transformers, too much human drama and barely any dinosaurs. Firstly, Jurassic is not only about dinosaurs, it's about the story that they tell within this universe. Obviously, the dinosaurs are always going to be there, whether they're background creatures or at the forefront of action. Either way, Jurassic is about the stories and not just the dinosaurs. All of this plotline was something that was been teased since Jurassic Park and also mentioned in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Genetic power has been unleashed and it won't stop at the de-extinction of the dinosaurs, as Ian Malcolm quotes. Not only were the Locusts very Michael Crichton-like, but they expanded the overall world of Jurassic, showing that yes, dinosaurs are everywhere in society, but they have to deal with something more. The greed of companies, and also anything else that the people with the means necessary can create within this new world. Question 22. What happened to the other person helping Claire rescue the Nasutoceratops? She just disappeared. Unfortunately, Zia Rodriguez didn't really get too much action throughout Jurassic World Dominion. Unfortunately, that's because Daniela Pineda, the actress who plays Zia Rodriguez, wasn't able to make some shoots because of COVID quarantine rules. Therefore, some replacements were made, such as Shira. Shira was the character who worked for the Department of Fish and Wildlife, where Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler met the Nasutoceratops. So originally, Zia Rodriguez was supposed to appear in that scene. Question 23. What happened to the dinosaurs who were let out in Malta? Were they recaptured, or were they just left to roam Malta eating everybody? Most likely the Maltese army were sent in to capture these dinosaurs, as I highly doubt they want predators running around the streets of Malta. Question 24. How come we didn't see any characters from Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous appear in Jurassic World Dominion? Do you think they'll appear in a deleted scene? If it's true that Lewis Dodson is set to appear in the 5th season of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, technically we did actually see a Camp Cretaceous character appear in Jurassic World Dominion. And the same also goes for Dr. Henry Wu, who also appeared in Season 1 and Season 3 of Camp Cretaceous. However, Camp Cretaceous was always meant to be a canonical spin-off show. It was never meant to impose directly and very heavily into the main storyline of Jurassic. Therefore, characters such as Brooklyn and Darius didn't make their way into Jurassic World Dominion because they felt pretty squeezed in a tight story throughout this big blockbuster movie. And let's be honest, there were enough characters throughout the movie to keep your eyes on. Question 25. What will happen to Maisie from now on? Will she have a role in a future Jurassic World movie? They were actually very smart along with this plotline. They introduced an actress called Everett Trill who was actually able to portray Charlotte Lockwood, which as we know Charlotte and Maisie are direct descendants and clones. So they'll look pretty much identical. So if Maisie was to appear in future movies, we don't need Isabella Sermon to portray her older self. We can now introduce Everett Trill to play the older version of Maisie Lockwood, which is quite interesting. So I think that they did this for a reason, to introduce Maisie later on in future Jurassic movies. Question 26. If Maisie isn't a human clone created by Benjamin Lockwood, then what drove Hammond and Lockwood apart? I'm going to read this directly from my notes because it can be a little bit confusing here. There's a good chance that Lockwood was originally looking into human cloning, whereas Hammond wasn't a fan of that. This could have led them to fall out and drive them apart. We also see in the movie that Charlotte brings the human cloning program back in an altruistic light, but Lockwood wanted to cover that up too, in case stuff is brought up from the past. Therefore, I believe that looking into human cloning was something that Hammond wasn't a big fan of, and actually brought Benjamin and Hammond apart. Question 27. Where and what was Barry doing while he was not on the big screen for 7 years? He said in the movie he opened a coffee shop, and he also got recruited by the French intelligence agencies. Question 28. What happened to the kids in the barn when the Locusts arrived? I think at this point they basically just lived their life and they were kind of traumatized from the event. Question 29. Will there be more movies and what will happen to Rexy? Yes, more movies are officially confirmed. As for Rexy, we don't entirely know, but we do know she is very, very old as confirmed by the directors. Question 30. Where was Kirby? Well, according to the Dino Tracker website, Paul Kirby actually still exists within the Jurassic universe, and he has created a big organisation called Kirby Enterprises. We can see it appear in a video with a Compsognathus, and also an image in Oklahoma, where they reside, with an Ankylosaurus. So I can only assume that Kirby is alive out there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we might get some awesome limited series spin-off show for him. Question 31. Near the end, there was someone at a pond with ducks, and they were playing with a Moros Intrepidus, like the one that they saw at Biosin. So were the Moros in the wild, or was it released from the facility? As I said earlier in the video, this genome was probably sent off and sold to someone else, who then accidentally left this dinosaur to go and roam in the wild. Question 32. Do you think that Biosin will rebuild again? They have failed in the past, and now this brings questions. What do you think Biosim will do in future trilogies? There is a good likelihood that maybe, just maybe, Biosim will rebuild, and potentially Ramsey taking the reins of it. However, because of the sinister plan of what they were able to do within Jurassic World Dominion, I highly doubt that Biosin will rebuild. I'm not ruling it off, there is a possibility there, but I don't think it's as likely as not having a possibility. But because Ramsey and Malcolm spoke at the end of the movie about the whole systemic corruption within Biosin, I don't think we'll be seeing them anytime soon. Question number 33. Do you think the Spinosaurus is alive? And yes, where it could be. Yep, I do think that the Spinosaurus is alive. Where it could be is another question that beats me. Question number 34. Were there any other big genetic companies? I mean, Biosin was very sure that the giant insects could not be tracked down by them, when that is the obvious conclusion. Well, the only major corporations within the Jurassic universe to do with genetics are Masrani, InGen, Biosin, and Manticorp. Unfortunately, it seems like all of them are now gone into liquidation or no longer exist. So yes, at the time, Biosin were the only genetical company. Question number 35. How important are the Locusts to the Dominion plot and the future of Jurassic? Well, as Ian Malcolm did say in 2018's Fallen Kingdom, they won't stop at the de-extinction of the dinosaurs because genetic power has been unleashed. So the Locusts were very, very important for Jurassic World Dominion, and they also expanded the overall world of Jurassic in total. They were a fantastic addition that basically showed that genetic power is everywhere across the globe now, and pretty much sets up anything that we could see that is non-dinosaur related within the Jurassic universe. Question number 36. For how long did Dr. Wu work for Biosin? Well, according to my notes here, I'll read directly from them. Dr. Wu most likely worked from Biosin from 2019 onwards. I'm pretty sure he would have been hiding from 2018's incident with Fallen Kingdom, and Biosin needed time to acquire the rights to house the dinosaurs across the globe. So I'd probably say that the earliest point would be the mid-2019s, and the latest point would be late 2020 when he started to work for Biosin. Question number 37. Now that Colin Trevorrow has confirmed that the two Tyrannosaurus Rexes at the end of the movie were Buck and Doe, where is Junior? Very simple, Junior basically grew up, left the nest and lived his own life. He may be alive, he may be dead, he may be on the mainland, he may be left on Isla Sorna. Question number 38. Why did Lewis Dodson release the fire onto the Locusts? Well, a few scenes prior to that, he was deleting files on his computer that had stuff to do with the Locusts, so he was deleting evidence. The best way to delete a living evidence is to burn it to a crisp, where you can barely see any DNA. Obviously, that didn't really work out well for him, did it? Question number 39. I want to know what happened to Sauna. Doesn't make any sense that nothing happened there for almost 2 decades, especially that dinosaurs existed on there. It's easy access for companies to steal them, and Sauna made no appearance in this movie except for a few name drops. Well, as we know, in 2015, 2016 and probably a few years back, Manticorp went to Sauna and pillaged some dinosaurs, stole some dinosaurs from that island, and brought them all the way over to Manticorp Island. Not only that, but on the Dino Tracker website we do see an image of Isla Sauna that says courtesy of Biosin Genetics, so I assume Biosin also stayed on Isla Sauna and maybe even brought some dinosaurs over from Sauna as well. So it's not entirely true that nothing happened on Isla Sauna. Question number 40. How can Maisie and Beta's DNA help stop the Locusts from spreading? Again, as I said earlier in the video, reading off my notes here, Beta's DNA was used in order to study how this gene modification works, as it was different to human DNA. This meant even passing on genes. Maisie's was similar, but she was used as the main focus of research for Dr. Wu, where then he can learn to spread positively infected genes throughout the Locusts, just like Maisie's pathogens. Question number 41. Can you explain how Biosin Genetics was formed, and how Lewis Dodson became its head of operations? Also, what happened to the Spinosaurus if Biosin tried to take a few species from Sauna? Again, I'm just going to be reading out from my notes here, but Biosin was formed in 1977 by Bill Steingarten. Whilst we don't know the exact details, we assume it took a similar motion from the novels. Steingarten either died or passed on his duties to Jeff Rossiter in 1994, who was then the CEO of Biosin. Noticeably, this is during the 1994 cleanup on Isla Nublar. Rossiter then gave up being CEO or possibly died too, leading to Lewis Dodson to take the reins of Biosin in 2013, 1 year after the creation of the Indominus Rex. As for the second question, the Spinosaurus isn't on Isla Sauna. Question number 42. I wonder what happened to Manticorp and how Biosin got control of these dinosaur chips. That will all be revealed in Camp Cretaceous Season 5 releasing next week. Question number 43. Do you think perhaps that Charlotte Lockwood helped with the creation of the Scorpius Rex? It did reproduce asexually. Whilst I don't think that she helped in the creation of the Scorpius Rex, I do believe that there is some potential of a storyline here that they might go into in a spin-off show. Question number 44. How did the dinosaurs spread that much in only 4 years? The Expedition Dump news report showed they were spreading in the way that an infectious disease would. Well, I mean, all you gotta do is watch the end of Fallen Kingdom again and there's your answer. Even check out the Dino Tracker website as well. Question number 45. How did the whole world get swarmed with dinosaur species that weren't even at the auction in such a short time? Again, as I said previously, check out the ending of Fallen Kingdom. Question number 46. It's not a plot hole, but what explanation do you have for the plain-sized Quetzalcoatlus? Trust me, I read the rest of your comment, don't worry. But very similar to Biosin's Giganotosaurus being paleo-accurate within the Jurassic universe, the Quetzalcoatlus was a creation of Biosin as well, which I can only assume means that it was taken directly from its DNA sample from the prehistoric times. Therefore, within this Jurassic universe, Quetzalcoatlus really was that size. That's insane. Question number 47. How and why does Lewis Dodson have the old Barbasol can from Jurassic Park? And remember, the DNA from the amber was only useful for 36 hours. So what's the point in having it? Well, it is in fact revealed that in Camp Cretaceous Season 5, Lewis Dodson obtains the Barbasol can. As for the means of why he kept it all of these years, it was basically his first ever job for Biosin, so it was more of a memory more than anything. Question number 48. Number 1. Are people still moving dinosaurs to the facility? Yes, however they must be reported and captured to the DFW firstly. 2. How much security has been said to be around the Biosin facility? Otherwise anyone could get in and take dinosaurs from there. As you can see in the movie, the dinosaurs are the security themselves. 3. How was the Barbasol can found, and is the Telltale game canon? The Telltale game is not canonical. The Barbasol can is found by Lewis Dodson on Isla Nublar, where he then goes to meet Manticorp on that island. Number 4. Are people still searching for Maisie? Probably so, yes. Number 5. Who was Dr. Wu referring to when he was talking about other companies will do it? during the Indoraptor action in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. When Eli Mills said relax, we'll make more, Dr. Wu said so will they. He was basically implying that maybe there wasn't a gene protection here that could potentially stop people from creating their own Indoraptors. That was the main concern and worry. Question number 49. If Charlotte and Blue were both able to reproduce asexually, and with the condition that Charlotte lived very short, will Blue and Beta both live short lives? That's not necessarily true for Blue and Beta. Basically, this was a one-off genetical disease that Charlotte Lockwood just had. The same way somebody may be born with a fatal illness, or someone may acquire it later in their life. So unless Blue had some sort of fatal illness, Beta will not get it. But Maisie got it because she was birthed from Charlotte, who had this genetical disorder. Question number 50. How were there so many variants of species able to be discovered and cloned from one mine in a European mountain range? Are all Biosin clones actually native to this region? No, not all of these Biosin clones are native to the region. We saw that they made $37 billion in the year of 2021, so who's to say they don't have expedition teams across the globe finding new species? Or possibly within this Jurassic universe they could actually be native to the Italian mountain range, who knows? But I believe it's probably the former rather than the latter. Question number 51. How long has Dr. Wu been working for Biosin? Don't worry, I read the whole comment, I've left it up there for you guys to read yourself. But Dr. Wu was not working for Biosin during the events of Fallen Kingdom. He was actually working with Eli Mills, as confirmed in Camp Cretaceous Season 3. He joined Biosin later on. Malcolm, however, probably felt like he had the best chance to get his word across to the bright youthful generation as he was ignored by everyone else all of these years. He was kind of like using Biosin as his own messenger platform. Question number 52. Dinosaurs reproduced by changing their gender as confirmed in the first movie. So that suddenly stopped now, and now like Blue they can just clone their own young? This one is a technical answer, so I'm just going to read my notes real quick. The simple answer is no. Only some dinosaurs can reproduce by changing their gender. However, they must be in a single sex environment for this to happen, not a singular environment like Blue is in, being the only velociraptor alive. There must be multiple of the same species in order to change. Monitor lizard DNA was confirmed to be added to Blue's DNA, hence why she was able to do parthenogenesis and recreate herself within Beta, without a mate. Question number 53. The original dinosaurs in Jurassic Park couldn't live outside of the controlled environment of the park because they needed the amino supplement to survive. Whatever happened to the lysine contingency? Again, another technical answer that I'm going to go read off my notes for. The lysine contingency was merely an InGen creation. I believe that Masrani mentioned somewhere that he was against that. So all of the dinosaurs that required it from the old park had their DNA altered to be able to produce their own lysine when moved into the new park of Jurassic World. And last but not least, question number 54. Why did Lewis Dodson let the Biosin Valley burn? Did you expect him to huff and puff and blow the fire away? I don't know what you wanted from him here. I mean, he didn't really let it burn to say, he was mainly just trying to get rid of the Locust evidence, and it happened to be that the Locust broke out and set everything alight. Not much he can do about that. And there we have it, 54 plot holes, and probably a little bit more, from Jurassic World Dominion that people thought were unanswered, but actually had real answers to them. If you happen to have any more plot holes that you want answered and I find them interesting, feel free to let me know in the comments and I will try to reply to them with the best of my ability. Firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you for watching today's video. If you happen to have enjoyed, be sure to press that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're brand new here, if you want to learn that little bit extra about the Jurassic lore. With more movies confirmed, this is definitely going to be a very good place to stay. All I ask for from you guys today, however, is to stay safe out there. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.